lecture. The next one is taking place already this Sunday night. As you may know, it's a concert, a film screening and live performance by Psoy Korolenko on Sunday night at 7 o'clock at One Recital Hall. So I would like to thank all of you for coming during this somewhat inconvenient time of the day. And of course, I would like to thank, first of all, the colleagues from the Russian and Slavic division of Hunter, the Russian club, who are co-organizers of this event, and the Presidential Fund for Student Engagement, which have been supporting us in this cultural series. So it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome Maria Stepanova to Hunter College. This is not the first time she's reading here, which makes us especially proud. And we are also very lucky to happen to be on her way from Moscow to Washington, where she is going to spend the next month as a fellow at the Kennan Institute. We are also very lucky to be joined today by Sibylle Forrester, one of Maria's translators into English. For most of you, Maria Stepanova does not need an introduction, but still, she is one of the most powerful and important voices in Russian poetry today. She is a winner of numerous prizes, author of more than 10 books of poetry and prose. She is also an essayist and a cultural and political thinker, even though it is, of course, still on the cultural side. In her non-fiction book, Один не я, Alone, not me, or One, not me, we will see how this will play out in the English translation of this book when it comes out. Maria continues the tradition of Russian prose, poet's prose, or prosa poeta, presenting her gripping readings of Marina Tsvetaeva, Vedensky, as well as Susan Sontag, Siebold, and other authors. She is also an independent journalist. She founded a very influential cultural portal, Open Space, which in 2012 had to be transformed into Kolta.ru, of which she is the editor-in-chief right now. And this is also an initiative which is funded exclusively through crowdfunding. So we can talk about this later on when we open the floor for discussion. Stepanova is, of course, a vital presence on the Russian cultural scene today. She is the organizer of multiple festivals in Russia, such as the Island of the 1990s, which has explored in great length and in great detail the decade that came between the fall of the Soviet Union and Putin's presidency. Sibylle Forrester, Maria's translator into English, is a professor of Russian at Swarthmore College. She has worked extensively on Russian folklore, the genre of autobiography, and numerous other vital subjects in Russian culture. She is an active translator of Russian poetry, and for the lack of time, I will not even try to list all the publications where her translations appeared. So we will have 2 hours, already slightly less. Unfortunately, we will have to end at 6, and we still have light refreshments over there. It's an awfully short time. Short amount of time, given how much Maria's poetry and everything else she does means to us. So let's begin, and please join me in welcoming Maria and Sibylle to Hunter and to New York.
Okay, here we go. First of all, I want to say my thank yous. Yasha, thank you so much for inviting me and for your kind words, and of course to the Hunter College and to the Russian Club for inviting me here. And well, I'm so pleased, and it is so wonderful to see all of you gathering here in such an uneasy time of day. I mean, it's Friday evening after all. I guess we'll, the time is rather limited, so I guess we'll do a little bit of reading, and maybe I'll ask Sibylle to start with the English versions for that part of the audience who is not familiar with the sound of Russian poetry recital. And then I'll do my part of it. Later, okay guys, I have to apologize for my clumsy English because, well, I'm not a resident, so be patient with me. Maybe later I will read something of my works that were not translated into English yet, but still, as it is something new, and as the majority of you speaks and reads Russian, it would be a pleasure and honor for me to show you some of these poems. It is a small book, Spolia. It consists of 2 longish poems written in the times of Ukrainian war in Russia. And for me it is a new and interesting and, well, dramatic experience of writing, so to say, directly after life, nach die Natur. Well, I hope we'll speak about it later, and we'll try to be as brief as possible with poetry, to be able to discuss some things, to exchange ideas, and maybe to speak about what is really going on in the Russian media field, because, well, it is quite an interesting example of culture trying to survive in difficult circumstances. So, let's start with this one.
Yeah, I would also like to thank Yasha Klotz and everyone at Hunter College and the Russian Club for their beautiful zakuski. Thank you all for coming. I want to say too, any of you who have ambitions as a translator, working with a living poet is a treat, and working with a brilliant living poet who is generous and gifted is a particular treat. The first poem is Sarah on the Barricades. The year 1905, in cradles they're no longer slipping. They open their eyes, unshoe their wee hands, yawn wide their toothless mouths. The ones in the train car, like Guidon in the barrel, ah no, like herrings in a herring barrel, will roll off to the distant suits. Above them, in Tambov and Yeysk, in the canvases of feral portières, the foggy mamas sigh Jewishly, German, Russian, Polish, and the roll call of children's last names is like a list of war casualties. Their future little dame girlfriends overfill their grandfather's loins, glance into the eyes of needles that lead into ineffable wombs. The silly grove around the silly genitals is curly like a frame. Above it soars the odors of conception. One must say nothing of them. Besides the fogs of soup and the WC, and the headlines of the stock report, one bell, a second-class train car, a tear, and an ink blot. I know, but better not to know, that these omni-common births, rhythmic as cannonades, mean the appearance of a new breed, that in these sleepless cribs, split-open hatches gape, that in the demographic breakers, anything at all boils and thrashes. Any Main Street Martha has reminiscent wrinkles. Under each skirt, a map, a yielding, overcast, smooth landscape departing under the ice for years and years in advance. Layers of temporary events, performances, and bloodlettings are applied on top like tracing paper. A steamship goes along the heart from 1939, and in the throat, hubu, the barricade, whereon great-grandmother Sarah, with her eye blackened last night, bandaged by a piratical circle, both Sanka and Sarah Sverdlova stand up for the working folk. Second part. Of all those lying in the earth, foreheads tipped back, who hold my speech in mind through the pine casket, poured like farina into a can of tin, in the city garden playing, I'll choose one, in a white hat with girl and boyfriend on an alpine path where a century burns out like tinder, scatters in the crowd. on a summer's day in the Luxembourg garden where Mary Stuart stands, where I too, a century hence, will stand for a bit, and the traces shall not be erased. On a winter's night, Villefranche-sur-Mer, following the lights in the prison in Petersburg. There, take a look. Sorting through the blotting pad in a Moscow apartment, on Pokrovsky Boulevard, in the communal cesspool, in a hospital ward, in a doctor's white gown, realizing the rounds. Now, just in my own cramped skull, with her daughter, with her granddaughter, with her great-granddaughter, me, the storm cloud swallow of feminist skies, Noah of a female ark. And when she crowns the barricade, I shall not bare her arms and breasts, but neither will I drape her with a flag, because there's no such flag. And neither the color red nor the white and blue are suited to such a task. Now in the heavens they turn on Radio Free Europe. There's a barricade, democracy, and to them Sarah Ginsburg's like a demonstration, maybe of the point of poetry, although any acacia under a fence is more useful and accessible for such purposes. But now you can hardly tell them apart. And if Sarah is put into a vase, or the barricade is curtained with acacias, we are to receive one date of a totaled year at the end of the workbook.
It is such a beautiful translation. Thank you so much. So, Сара на баррикадах. Год 1905. В колыбелях уже не спять. Открывают глаза, разувают ручонки, разевают беззубые рты. Те, кто в вагоне, как говядон в бочонке. Ах нет, как сельди в сельдяном бочонке. Покатят в дальние сорты. Над ними в Тамбове и Ейске, в холстах одичалых портьер, блуждают туманные мамы еврейские, немецкие, русские, польские или и перечень детских фамилий, как список военных потерь. Их будущие дамочки, подружки переполняют дедовские чресла, в игольные заглядывают ушки, ведущие в неведомое чрево. Смешной лесок, вокруг смешного срама, курчав, как рама, над ним витают запахи зачатия, о них молчати, еще туманы, супы, клозета и заголовки биржевой газеты. Один звонок, вагон второго класса, слеза и клякса. Я знаю, а знать бы не надо, что эти всеобщие роды, ритмичные, как канонада, явления новой породы, что в эти бессонные люльки зияют открытые люки, что в демографичном прибое кипит и метется любая бульварная Марта имеет похожие складки, под каждую юбкую карта, уступчивый, облачный, гладкий ландшафт, уходящий под лед на годы и годы вперед. Поверх полагаются картой, калькой следы повременных событий, спектаклей и кровопролитий. По сердцу идет пароход из 1939 года, а в горле ЧБ баррикада, на коей прабабушка Сара, а глаз накануне подбитый, завязан кружком по-пиратски, и Санька, и Сара Свердлова стоят за рабочий народ. И к нему второе. Изо всех в земле лежащих, запрокинув лоб, речь мою в уме держащих свой сосновый гроб, пересыпанных, как манка, в банку жестяну, в городском саду играя, выберу одну в белой шляпе, с подруга и друг на альпийской тропе, где столетие сгорает, как труд, иссякает в толпе. Летним днем в Люксембургском саду, где Мария Стюарт, где и я через год постою, и следы не стирать. Зимней ночью Вильфранше-Сюрмер, провожая огни в Петербурге, в тюрьме. Вот, взгляни. разбираясь в бюваре, на московской квартире, на Покровском бульваре, в коммунальном сортире, в больничной палате, в белом халате, осуществляя прием. Теперь только в черепе тесном моем. С дочкой, с внучкой, с правнучкой мной феминистского неба ласточка-тучка, ковчега женского ной. И когда она венчает баррикаду, я не буду обнажать ей руки-груди, но и флагом прикрывать ее не буду, потому что нет такого флага, и ни красный цвет, ни сине-белый не годятся для такого дела. Теперь на небесах заводят радио. Свобода, баррикада, демократия и Сара Гинзбург им, как демонстрация. Возможно, назначение поэзии, хотя любая подзаборная акация для этих дел доступнее и полезнее, но их уже почти не различить. И если Сара переставить в воду или акацией завесить баррикаду, одно число из численного года в конце задачника имеем получить.
The women's changing room at Planet Fitness. There's nothing shared besides the warmth and wool, identic keys and the 9 openings. Fillable with what? With damp, delight, and shit. Covered with the mouth, closed up with sleep, clotted, blood, tears, children, and sulfur, surrounding the essence or a stranger's flesh. With my own 9, I drop by and sit down to strip, stood to be a bit, and I set off to float. Rosy and yellow, plump as infants, bare, naked, in a towel down to the ears, the flocks of tree maidens sliced through the floor. Each goes into the shower, languidly drooping its trunk. It needs, like types of wine and breeds of partridges, either a classifique or just curiosity. There the collarbone layers, there the shoulder blade sails. Each lift of the soul must be logged in the register. Soon there'll be no more such. Soon they'll find a second shift. Here they'll stretch velvet across, there they'll rebuild a stage. For the collocation of bone, skin, and black plaits, the guests will marvel, not hiding their tears. Benefit for the young handsome or the ugly good, plays in the kindergarten, touches your plum, communes in the pear, collects water in its mouth. Incoherent, whittled winter will inherit, and animal reason won't recognize its brother. This watery column can turn to ice, reason to infection, and the air to gas. Lovey-doveys in a close-ranked wall will start to march through the sheds, and the door that used to open on the swimming gob will open a wee bit, like a zipper on the hip, and we'll step out of slippers, crowns, and watches, out of our complicated rags, nails, and voices. And once they've torn off the lock, a crowd of souls will pour into our nostrils, mouths, and ears like a steam puff from a teapot. But like in forest school, the excess of creams, mouths and hair, muscles and underarms keep rustling. Shame and the auto-tan, just like a vixen's lair, regard the body's surface through lenses of pores. But like in a cattle car, where, cramped and with profanity, quadrants of steam and the long wail wander, untrespassing, the sky becomes a brother, and someone in the shower room sings. In pioneer camps, in the indigo shorts of July, first dipping, then lifting the flag, the first eye, brow-knitted like a bullet, takes the initial step, and squinting the landscape the way a fist crumples paper, I regard him almost like the skies, and I'll lie down, like that ball lightning on the fields, with one turn of the wheel.
Женская раздевалка клуба «Планета Фитнес». Общего ничего, кроме тепла и шерсти, одинаких ключей и 9 отверстий, наполняемых чем? Влагой, сластью, говном, накрываемых ртом, закрываемых сном, выпекающих кровь, слезы детей и серу, окружающих суть или чужую плоть. О 9 своих я прохожу и села снять, постояла быть и направляюсь плыть. Розовый и желтый, крупные, как младенцы, голышом, нагишом, по уши в полотенце, стайки, девы дерев пересекают пол. Каждая входит в душ, томно склоняя ствол. Надо, как виды вин и сорта куропаток, то ли классифици, то ли полюбопы. Вот пластины ключиц, вот паруса лопаток. Нужно занесть в реестр каждый подъем стопы. Скоро таких не станет, скоро доставят смену. Здесь перетянут бархат, там перестроят сцену на сочетание кости, кожи и черных кос. Будут дивиться гости, не пряча слез. Впрок, молодой красивый или дурной хороший, в детском саду играет, трогает твою сливу, причащается груши, воду ртом собирает, бессвязная, резная, наследует зима, и брата не узнает животное ума. Этот столб водяной может стать ледяной, разум заразой, воздух газом. Голубки-любки, сомкнутую стеной, замаршируют по лабазам, и дверь, что отворялась на плавательный куб, откроется на малость, как зиппер на боку, и выступим из тапок, коронок и часов, из соположных тряпок, ногтей и голосов, и в ноздри, рты и уши, как с чайника дымок, толпой повалят души, сорвавшие замок. Но как в школе лесной все же шумит излишек кремов, уст и волос, мышцы подмышек, автозагар и стыд, словно лисицы нор, на поверхность тела глядят в окуляры пор. Но как в скотском вагоне, где в тесноте и матом бродят квадраты пара и долгий вой, неприступное небо становится братом, и кто-то поет в душевой. В пионер-лагерях, в синих трусах июля, то упираясь, то поднимая флаг, первая я, насупленная, как пуля, делает первый шаг, и хмурый пейзаж, как мнут в кулаке бумагу, почти небесами гляжу на него и лягу, как та шаровая молния, на поля в один оборот руля.
The pilot. When he returned from there, where he yelled in his sleep and dropped bombs on cities, and ghosts would appear to him, he would get up to smoke and would open the window. The shared rags lay there in a heap, and in the dark I gathered my bundle. But that isn't anything yet. Digging our garden by the farm, food and income for our whole family, he wouldn't, and he wouldn't let me. Wouldn't let me touch any vegetables, ate a lot, got mad, was a brute, lost weight, and kept rolling cigarettes. But life just kept going on. When he came back from there, where the vessels of the national airlines fly, from the heavens beyond the clouds, when he came back from there all together, like children still suckling the breast, we were all totally helpless, but that isn't anything yet. But there, high up, they sing at the controls. While flying, the stewardesses serve wine. They roll the carts up and down the aisles. But mine was up top, not in a resident's role. He was himself leaning on the father's shoulders, and I won't give this one up. When he returned from there forever, an empty down man from the unwilling sky, as mysterious as a suitcase, we went out the front exit on a mild night, little son in my arms and daughter beside, and he would whack me in the mugs. But that isn't anything yet. Like a damp blush at the word love, his blue gaze would slip over my face while he uttered insults to me. And as a whole clan, we sat on the lawn and saw a glow where the horizon had been, where they still hadn't put the fire out. And life just kept going on. For 1 week he drank like a tear with a tear. He threatened somebody, told someone, "Get down." He wheezed, holding on to his belly. Then he went quiet and quietly said that there, up above, not meeting my eyes, the heavenly daughter is dwelling. She's a daughter and an old hag and a wife, and as for how she looks under her clothing, I would have forgiven his lies, but he went to a lot of detail to describe her indifferent, her colorless eyes that looked just like the heavens. The first time he saw her, he would say, was when a snow-white city was burning, but we were finishing our run, and in a little blue skirt and a white kerchief, she reached over in a dead-end dive to pull the chute open for me. He added, it's easier to see her at dawn. She always wears a Girl Scout's uniform. The ribbon in her plait is dark blue. Then he started snoring and the house woke up. Empty from now on, don't bother locking, since we'd squandered all that we had. But I have nothing that's my own, except that astral little bitch of his atmospheric commissar. He'll answer for each time he banked, and he'll remember his team that died and his instructions in addition. But everything changed, and life started back, as if it was lit up and clearer than glass, and we weren't in any debt to it. And my man stood a bit, took a quick look around, and became a ticket checker for an honest trip on the public transit of our land. Only once he came back, looking all strange, like before, and with the old damp in his voice, and looking close into my face, said that now he was tired of the earthly. The heavenly daughter had appeared to him in the trolley bus at the Ring, and he lay on the bed and he started to die, to pluck invisible fluff from the sheet, and he died there, while out of his mind. Shouting, I ran out to buy Corvalol, and I see a trolley bus making the circle, and in the front window, herself. She was wearing a Girl Scout uniform. She blushed to the very roots of her hair. She leaned slightly into the window, and a horrible ringing began in my ears. But I took a step towards her on the stair, and the court's now in session for me. Forgive me, even though who could forgive for the death of a girl who was just 12 years old, who died although guilty of nothing, because in the soulless abyss, like a fish in fish soup, the heavenly daughter lives in sin, and with whom no one will ever know. And life just keeps on going on.
Называется «Летчик». Когда он вернулся оттуда, куда? Во сне он кричал и бомбил города, и духи казались ему. Курить он вставал и окно открывал, совместные тряпки лежали в навал, и я в темноте собирала суху, но это еще ничего. Копать приусадебный наш огород, семейного рода прикорма доход не стал он, и мне запретил, не дал и притрагиваться к овощам. Отъелся, озлел, озверел, отощал, и сам самокрутки крутил. Но жизнь продолжала себя. Когда ж он вернулся оттуда, куда гражданского флота летают суда с заоблачных небесей, когда он вернулся оттуда совсем, как дети, которые мамку сосем, мы были беспомощны все. Но это еще ничего. А там высоко, за штурвалом поют, летя стюардессы вино подают, тележки катят по рядам, а мой наверху не в порядке жильца, а сам опирался на плечи отца, и этого я не отдам. И жизнь продолжала себя. Когда же он вернулся оттуда навек, безвольного неба с пустой человек, таинственный, как чемодан, мы вышли служебным в погожую ночь, сынок на руках и около дочь, и бил он меня по мордам. Но это еще ничего. Как влажный румянец при слове «любовь» скользил по лицу его взгляд голубой, пока он меня обижал, и всей родословной мы сели в газон и видели зарево, где горизонт где все не тушили пожар, и жизнь продолжала себя. Неделю он пил, как слезу со слезой, кому-то грозил, кому-то слеза, и, держась, охрипел за живот, потом же притих и тихо сказал, что там наверху, не глядя в глаза, небесная дочка живет. И дочка, и бабка она, и жена, и как под одеждой она сложена. И я бы простила вранье, но очень уж тщательно он описал ее равнодушные, как небеса, бесцветные очи ее. Впервые он видел ее, говорил, когда городок белоснежный горел, но мы завершали маршрут, и в синенькой юбке, и белом платке она протянулась в глухое пике раскрыть надо мной парашют. Добавил, ее на рассвете видней. Всегда пионерская форма на ней, и синяя лента в косе. И он захрапел, и проснулся домок, отныне пустой, хоть не вешай замок, поскольку гуляли на всем. А я, у меня ничего своего, но эта астральная сучка его, воздушный его комиссар, ответит за каждый вираж и вспомнит погибший его экипаж и что-то еще предписал. А все изменилось, и жизнь зажила, как будто светла и прозрачней стекла, и ей ничего не должны. И мой постоял, огляделся окрест, и стал контролером за честный проезд на транспортных средствах страны. Но только однажды вернулся чужим, по-прежнему, и в голосе тот же нажим, и, глядя мне близко в лицо, сказал, что земное постыло ему, небесная дочка предстала ему в троллейбусе, где кольцо, и лег на кровать, и стал умирать, невидимый пух с простыни обирать, и умер, пока без ума, крича, я бежала купить корвалол. И вижу, троллейбус по кругу пошел, а в первом окошке сама была пионерская форма на ней. Она покраснела до самых корней, она наклонилась в окне и страшно в моих зашумела ушах, но к ней на подножку я сделала шаг, и суд заседает по мне. Простите ж меня, хоть прощения нет за гибель девчонки 12 лет, невинно пропавшей за то, что в бездне бездушной, как рыба в ухе, небесная дочка живет во грехе, а с кем не узнает никто. И жизнь продолжает себя.
This translation is not my translation. It was done by Sasha Dugdale, who is, among other things, the editor of Modern Poetry and Translation in the UK. So credit where it is due. As they must. Night terrors marching their way, dragoons of them tapping, their beetle legs like twigs on dry paper. The native population of the heart's nether nation, their tears cocked like a loaded weapon, like a lesson got by rote, your words of explanation. Once they're through, they devour everything. And you, sweet reading, lifting the lamp's lit arms above its head, spreading your tent above fallen dreamers, hiding the Jew in an empty store cupboard. And you, courage, fear's flushed veneer, the pointless ability to rest one's cheeks in one's hands and lift one's own head like a cup barely half filled and quite useless, the wine of madness, its dark contents spreading and taking hold in the animal body. Oh, how it foams, full of the dark fruits, veiled over with a dull blue film, like the eye of a dying bird. He knows. Will he help? Will he mix the wine with water? Turn out the sleepless plasma screen. We deny, we turn away, we walk the road step by step, breathing with our eyes, hardly able to bear each other up. We see acorns, fixed in the dirt clay. Morning, morning is here. How many of you there were acorns, the ones without caps, the shaved heads of Cossacks burnt black in the sun, hardened with long-running scars, and the ones like children, thick-walled, tiny barrels, big-headed boys, so very sure of themselves, born for the palm of the hand, for the roll of the fist, for the life in a pocket, a pitch-dark, populous, perspiring pocket, in somebody's possibly kindly grasp. You aren't for growing, for unfurling. You aren't for rupturing the paper earth and humming from root to topmost leaf like a hive interrupted, nor for the extending of a ship's long deck, or for the wearing of a feast on your back, or for the lying as someone else's bed. You were meant for another purpose. The squirrel busies itself. The wind passes through, rat-a-tat. One by one, two by two, all they know is how to fall on the road, where they lie, as they must.
Как могут. Страхи ночные, идущие поперек, драгунами, тараканами, ногами-палочками по сухой бумаге, коренное население от сердечья, слезы взводящие, как урок, разучившие твои объяснения, все вам поживо, что не отсрочка. И ты отвага, румяная, все поживо, что не... И ты, милое чтение, зажженную лампу воздевшая над головою, раскинувшая палатку над падшим сновидцем, прячущая еврея в пустой каморке. И ты, отвага, румяная оболочка страха, пустое умение щеки держать в ладонях, собственную голову приподнимая чашей, заполненной еле наполовину и никому не нужный. Вино безумия, темный его напиток, бродит и зреет ниже в животном теле. Ох, он насыщен пеной, упитан черными плодами, подернут сверху сизою пленкой, как бы глаз умирающей птицы. Сам знает, сам поможет, сам разбавит вино водою, сам выключит бессонную плазму. Мы отворачиваемся, отрекаемся, идем дорогой, ноги переставляем, глазами дышим, еле держим друг друга, видим желуди, вмерзшие в полуглину. Утро настало, желуди, сколько вас было, те, что без шляпок, бритые запорожцы, сожженные солнцем, затвердевшие в продольных шрамах, есть и детские, толстостенные, sorry guys, the thing is, I don't have the Russian version for that one, and но есть и детские, толстостенные, бочковитые братцы, очень важные, рожденные для ладони, для катания в кулаке, для житья в кармане, темном, тесном, теплом, в чьем-то ласковом ли пожатии. Вы не для роста, не для прямостояния, не для того, чтобы палубу продолжать или лечь в основу чужого ложа. Вы для другого дела. Белка завозится, ветер пройдется, бух, один за одним, другой за четвертым. Как умеют, падают они на дорогу и лежат, как могут. So, we're running out of time, and I wanted to read something from this newest one.
Until 6.
Yep, I know, but я думала, I thought maybe to reserve some time for discussing things, whatever. Maybe let's do it this way. Could I just read something from this one, and maybe later after we'll chat, maybe we'll last one more in English and Russian. So the book title is Polye, and the term comes from the architecture science, meaning the way of building things that includes some parts of pre-existing structures, like a column, a marble thing where something is written. That's the way the ancient Rome was redone in later centuries, including all the severed things of the past. And this book consists of 2 long texts. I have difficulties with explaining even to myself how they are constructed, because it is not what you may call, a straightforward poem or a cycle of poems. It is definitely a sequence, but they were put together in a special, in a rather peculiar way, and both of them are dedicated to what was happening in Ukraine, and at the time I was writing it. Also not directly, but these things are in the air. You are kind of forced to change with the air, and the language is also changing, and so rapidly that you have to hurry up to catch up with it. Here we go. Ты помнишь ли, Мария, наш темный коридор, послевоенную Россию, военный городок, под радиолу танцы смирные на расстоянии руки, но золотом и смирною полны товарники. Какие люди, годные для жизни фронтовой, в твои колени голые стучали головой, как чай светил там ситечком, вспотевший от жары, и под убогим ситчиком железные шары. Ты помнишь, как заплакана стояла у крыльца, когда у Васьки дьякона поймали подлеца, как вели его веселого, оглянувшегося раза, а потом контрольный в голову, и газик дал газа. Как при звуке выстрела в двери ты вошла, жизнь себя убыстрила, надвое пошла. Мой брат сказал, что ты фашист. Запевай, и я запою. Мы вернемся, когда распустится лист, но я на своем стою. Тогда в лесу распустится лист, и олень пойдет по тропе, и антифашист перейдет на свист, а лес пойдет на пе. Слова привязаны к вещам веревочкой простой, а люди в землю к овощам ложатся на постой, а эти ходят по дворам со списком и мелком и лижут край оконных рам гниющим языком. Фашист, мышаст, ушаст, душист, и мшист, и голенаст, но воздух знает, что не фашист никто из вас и нас. Сними веревочки со слов, оставь их лежать в углу, и лес отзовет своих послов, и весь я не умру. По большой наморщенной водице, под вечерней звездою, от того бережочка отплыл деревянный ящик. Капитана на нем не слышно, матросов на нем не видно, всего и видно, что слабое свечение близится оно к нашему дому. Всего и слышно, что тихое шуршанье, словно в трюме не спит, крошится, пересыпается горсть за горстью, всего и слышно, как воск трещит и каплет, и вода кафизму за кафизмой читает, потом стирает, потом читает и стирает. Прости меня, друг милый, пускай погибну, не в этом дело. Не беги по берегу за мною, по бездороге, ноги стирая. Не ищи мой деревянный ящик на отмели в камышатах. Главнее всего, не снимай с него крышки. Отрекись от старого мира, не снимай с меня крышки. Не возвращайся к маме, не говори по селам меловыми окаменевшими устами. Дорогие товарищи, братья и сестры, братья и дружины. Выйди от меня, я человек грешный, говорит орлица встречному ветру. Выйди от меня, я человек нетвердый, говорит рукам красная глина. Выйди от меня, я не человек вовсе, я простое, записывающее устройство. Трррр, чир, чевир, пить, 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 пить. Ясно горят высокие башни, на них говорят высокие флаги, строятся в ряд небесные звезды, летят быстроходные самолеты, идут на парад тяжелобрюхие танки, боевые колесницы, дельфины-герои, ласточки-смертницы, львы отобранные по росту и рыку, люди, люди и люди. Над ними плывет вишневая яблонь, белые акации, душистые гроздья, гофрированные бумажные маки, головы, насаженные на палки. Пускай она выйдет и что-нибудь скажет, война говорит, ку-ку, и сердце, как пес, поворочит и ляжет, и сын родится в полку. Два брата жили, как я и Ю, и если один говорил из них «да», вставала во тьме земляная вода, потом про нее спою. Нет, говорил другой, ни от каких причин не бывает детей в боевом строю, состоящем из многих мужчин. Но нечего было сказать друзьям, когда появился я между древесным стволом и ружейным стволом. Качайся, зыбка моя. А какие были яблоки до Первой мировой, рассказали бы на ярмарке. Да кто же там живой? Так с чем же граничит Россия, сказал больной. Сам знаешь, с чем граничит, сказал больной. И каждая пять ее земли, и каждый шаг в ее пыли — это шаг перед досмотром по нейтральной полосе. И небо придвинулось близко и смотрит во все глаза. О, это место, где ни границы нет, где всюду пересадка на тот и этот свет, где надземен и подземен каждый переход, и страж граничный заглядывает в еще не закрытый рот. Здесь дыры, есть норы, есть поры, то есть ворота в теле страны, заглядываться в которые посторонние не должны. И каждая не колодец, слезы его утри, а угольная шахта с канарейкою я внутри. Учу обойтись без я, но кто без меня обойдется? Я пойдет за тобой отсюда до смертного часа, будет стучать тебе в уши, покуда не скажешь «вот я». Я говорю не за рубь, не часок скоротать до парома, это ты говоришь, а не я. Я твой родной язык, у тебя во рту ему тесно, в моем он начал болтать. Пока мы спим, я думает о тебе. Пора объясниться, давай-ка встанем. Земля не умеет встать. Нет у нее дальних и ближних планов, нету сознания собственной правоты, ей себя не жалко, в ответ она не ответит, не бежит, не лежит, не делает особенных ошибок, никого не оставит вовне. Земля открывает рот не чтобы сказать, она не мешает себе в себе увязать. Бабочки, резные дверцы не откроются вперед-назад, чтобы ты вытягивала сердце и на цыпочках заглядывала в сад. Не качнется анфилада, не прогнется антресоль. Напоследок зренье, выбежав из сада, разуму сказала: хватит нему соль. И теперь короткими ночами, еле свет успев перевести, суд идет, мы с ним еще в начале, копошится мозг в кости. Прокурор с промокшими висками сыплет воду в слюдяной стакан, и она лежит на скатерти кусками неграненых умбрий и тоскан. Мозг в кости, перележавший кашей, запевает и поет о какой-то старой жизни нашей, превращенной в анекдот, так как будто мы не мыши, не обмылки, не обмирки, брошенные в таз, и пивные толстогубые бутылки протрубили и за нас. Если собрать в точку, было сказано вот что: она не способна говорить за себя, поэтому ею всегда правят другие. Потому в ее истории столько повторов, и фальсифицируются отжившие формы, и не понять, откуда какая цитата из 30-го или 70-го года, потому что она цитирует все одновременно, и не чтобы напомнить, а чтобы наполнить дыры, что особенно жутко. Ее материал, ее мазы, алмазы, каменные пещеры, древесные леса, золотые горы, снежные барсы, пустынные розы, газовые потоки, которые так нужны мировой торговле. Ее материал не хочет иметь с ней дело, дает без любви, делать с собой что надо. Непонятно, чего ей надо. Где твое «я»? Почему его не видно? Почему за тебя говорят посторонние люди? Или ты говоришь голосами шутих и трусов: выйди из себя, поставь этот словарь на полку. Она не выходит. Это у нее не выходит. Вот ее огромные пароходства, ширококрылые самолетства, шерстобитные сталелитейные молочные производства, многоокие градостроительные предприятия, ткачихи, поющие над неработающими станками, зоны вольного винопития, прости Господи, матические открытия, господа юнкера, автомат калашников, большой балет, вытанцовывающий из загашников, за решеткою призрак убитого летнего сада. Это страна, рай, уснувший в объятиях ада. Пусть она постоит в цвету, и постою на этом, облетающим ненадолгим розовым цветом, с теми, кто на посту, проститутки, белеющие тенями в тенях деревьев на шоссе Ярославском, ослепляемые фарами. Подходите к машинам осторожно, как олени к кормушке. Вагон-ресторан, пластиковые ромашки, меню с золотыми буквами на обложке, официантка, укушенная в шею, все, кто говорит, как я еще не умею, пылевая буря на полустанке, где с тобой не покурим, протяженность полей, усыренная непокоем, подполковник в отставке, дальнобойщик в своей кабине. Теперь проверим, действительно ли она высока, как терем, и что свет изгоняет тьму между Вытегрой и Любанью. Положите мне руку на яр, и я уступлю желанию.
We can use both languages, whichever you prefer. And if this is in Russian, then we will simply translate it into English. But if you can ask in English to save time.
Спасибо очень большое, огромное. Можете нам рассказать о том, что происходит с цензурой сейчас в России?
The question is about what is happening with censorship in Russia today.
Well, it's an interesting story because the whole issue of censorship in Russia, as everything in contemporary Russia, is, so to say, hybrid. It means that if you are working for a publication which is, so to say, low-key, that could mean anything. For instance, Koltaro that I'm editing is its usual monthly amount of readers is about 400,000 of unique viewers per month. And this is considered to be not very impressive. When we are speaking about the major publications, we are speaking of millions and millions of unique viewers. And for them, the situation is rather different. We at Kolta, sometimes we are facing some situations, some issues that may be called dangerous or complicated. But it was never moving to the level of real danger. Maybe it's because, well, the whole venue is crowdfunded, and we don't have owners. We don't have a board of trustees who are able to push us into something. So we happen to be quite independent, and no Surkov or Volodin are able to, well, at least they never called me, you know, so we don't know. Maybe they just don't know the number. But for the bigger ones, it is quite complicated. There are some subjects you never can touch. For instance, the delicate matter of Putin's family, as you know, caused the reload and of the RBK and firing of all the editorial board. And that is something because the publication was one of the best in contemporary Russia. There are some places, some publications that are allowed to be more free-speaking than the others. For instance, it is the Echo Moskvy, and they are paying high price for it because they are giving voice not only to the members of the opposition who are closer to what they think themselves, but they are also giving air to all the brands of pro-Putin activists, freaks, whatever. But still they have some space for movement. Of course, nothing like that. That kind of freedom exists on the internet territory. The Russian state TV, with the one serious exclusion of the Dozhd channel, and it doesn't belong to the state, and it also exists more or less totally in the internet. I don't remember the figures, but I think it's about 70 or maybe 80% of what they're doing is broadcasting via the internet. And all the other channels are 100% controlled by the state, and it dictates not only the choice of subjects, but also the oral feeling, the overall attitude. You always know what they're going to say about any matter, about the presidential elections in the US, about things in Syria, in Turkey, whatever, wherever. So it is more or less solid. There is almost no difference between the channel channel 1 and the RTR, maybe in some stylistic matters, but not in the important things.
What about Kolta
Yep.
and censorship? Do they hassle you or no?
In fact, no. Well, I would be honored to be hassled, but in fact, no. The only time we were approached by the Roskomnadzor was, well, it sounds more like a joke. We've published a review, a literary review, that one of the best Russian journalists wrote about a newborn poetry cycle by Yuri Gogolev. And he was quoting something, using, as the poet does, obscene language, some F word. And the funniest thing is, the poem was already published. So we were not, it was, so to say, two-level quotation. He was quoting the published poem. But still we were approached by the Roskomnadzor, and we had to pay some fine for our bizarre editorial policy. That's how it goes. But Kolta is, or it is treated, and it makes matters more simple for us. It is treated as a cultural magazine, cultural daily newspaper. And of course we're writing about society and about politics, but we are, I think, for the authorities, we're lying at the shelf with, culture, and culture is a boring, dusty matter. No one wants to know what is going on there. If we were totally politically oriented video, it would be completely different. As we can see at, the Pskovskaya Gubernia, which is a wonderful publication with a small circulation, but still they are facing lots of difficulties up to the beating of the editor-in-chief, so it is completely different.
I wanted to thank you. I'm deeply appreciative for your mesmerizing, meaning-laden poems. I had a question about your poems, about the war in Ukraine. Now, one could say that before the war broke out, we had the sense of a somewhat farcical repetition of history under Putin in Russia. But then things got serious. So I wanted to ask you, however disgraceful and awful what has been happening is, do you get some feeling of kind of certitude and maybe satisfaction as a poet when there is something to latch onto, when there's some real sense, when you can have something serious to say, something which will matter for decades and decades, after you've said it?
I would say something I've never thought about, in fact, but maybe I was relieved in a strange, perverse way, not relieved, but reloaded on a personal level, because I remember well enough one peak from the 2009 year when we were standing with a colleague smoking somewhere at the Moscow yard, and speaking of about the end of history, in terms of Fukuyama, in terms of Kojève, but about things slowing down to non-existence. And the feeling was we are living now in a glossy bubble where nothing is really happening for the first time, and just keeps repeating itself as a GIF, in fact, it's interesting because well, I think that's what a wood poem is doing. It has its own temporality, and it reloads itself. It can rewind itself, then it puts itself in a fast forward way. And you as a reader, and of course you as a writing entity, you are suddenly able to control time. And it's an interesting position to think about. But, well, writing in this ever-repeating way could be interesting, because poem is not, it is a thing that is able to continue itself from any point. But living in a GIF, sorry, how do GIF or a GIF? You know this the small internet thing, the part of a video that is continuously repeating itself. GIF. Okay. So living in it is something different. But as a well, poetry is facing death anytime, every time, and it is such a serious issue. I think you don't necessarily need a war to happen, anything to happen, because everything already happened. And the main, I was just reading a brilliant book by Anne Carson, who is writing about the economy of the lost, and she's comparing in the most interesting way the Greek poet, the Simonid of Chaos, and Paul Celan. And what she's saying, okay, I'll try to be brief because it could lead me I could say a lot about that. What she's saying that the main purpose of poetry, since it was parting with the musical structure, was remembering the dead, naming them, because of course the epitaph was the first written form of poetry, and that's the way it goes for centuries and centuries, and that's enough. But I have this feeling that something really happens to, maybe not to poetry as a texture, as a fabric, but to poets themselves when things are beginning to move forward. There is an interesting phrase at some essay by Mandelstam when he's writing about Akhmatova, and he's comparing her to a meat-eating bird, чайка, называют плотоядной чайкой. And then he's saying that her voice is more loud and more present at the battlefield, etc., etc. But, well, if you're viewing the metaphor closely, it is almost an insult. But if we forget Akhmatova, I guess it's a very precise comparison, because that's what poetry does. It constitutes itself around the gap, around the hole, that gaping mouth of trauma. And of course, when this mouth is opening, something happens, and not only to poetry but to the readers. And that's what I can say about the Russian readership, the Russian poetry audience, which is increasing right now. for the first time in, well, decades and decades. I never expected, and in fact I never wanted it to evolve like this, because, well, I think that the audience of poetry is not really limited, but it is a way of you have to usually you have to feel this need, and it doesn't happen often. But now people are gathering to listen to poetry, and there's hundreds. You remember we were doing a poetry, not a poetry festival, a cultural festival, and we were unable to let all the people in, and we had to do it in the most inconvenient way. People were standing around a small hut where the reading was expected, and it was like around 1,000, I guess. And well, it's another proof of things getting better. In fact, I think it speaks about, and loudly speaks about, something completely different. Things are getting awful, and people are looking for an antidote. They're trying to find some kind of, well, some herb, some word, some answer, or maybe some question that would help them to continue living. That's how it works. And of course, the war was the very strong. Was a very strong addition to that overall feeling. But I think it's more or less the same around the globe. The obsession with the past, the unwillingness to face the future, the deep underestimating of the times present, and the sudden ability to forget history. We are insisting at the necessity of memory, but memory is so personal. It never can be totally objective, and history is quite forgotten, and that's what gives us a chance to redo the past. When I'm thinking of, the tagline, "Make America Great Again," it's not about greatness; it's about again, about the very idea of recreating something that never existed.
Позвольте пару слов на вопрос. Вопрос по поводу нашего поэтического языка. Очень часто в стихотворении встречается определенная деформация языка. Вы используете устаревшие формы слов. Усекаете, происходит слияние слов. Хотел спросить вас, является это каким-то способом изменить ситуацию, в которой поэт является орудием языка, да, перевернуть ситуацию? И вообще, возможно ли поэта свобода от языка или в языке? И соответствующий вопрос переводчику. Каково сегодняшний перекладывается?
So the question is about the actual language in which Marie is writing, because we could sense that the language is oftentimes distorted or deformed, deconventionalized, and if this is something that has to do with the role of the poet as the instrument of language. And the second question was to the translator about how one deals with this.
In fact, I'm not so sure that the poet is an instrument of language. I like the idea, but for me, there are things more important than even the language. And for me, poet is an instrument of, well, pain maybe, because we are deformed by different kinds of inner and outer pain. And that's how we are formed. And it cannot do anything but to distort the language that is coexisting with us. And it's a very natural way for me, because, well, the reality itself is distorted. And so if language tries to be tries to exist according to the reality it reflects, something happens to the language and to the language bearer.
It's a wonderful question, thank you. I actually wrote my dissertation on Marina Tsvetaeva, and what fascinated me about Maria Stepanova's poetry when I began to translate it was that she was the first poet I had read who made Tsvetaeva feel old-fashioned to me, which is saying a lot. It's saying a lot. It's difficult to translate because, on the one hand, there still is this stichosложение, syllabotonic prosody, and I think that should be recognizable in the translation, but it feels very new. Things like deformation of words, cutting off the ends. Cutting off the ends is easy to do in a translation. You just cut off the end, right? So I had the poem where it said curiosity. Well, you know what the next syllable is. It forces the reader. Tsvetaeva does this too. I'm thinking of Molodets, for example, that when the vampire is there, people aren't finishing words because it's dangerous, but you know what's going to be said. So how to use English in that kind of poetry, it's a challenge. You could tell from my translations, there are moments when I get the rhythm and moments when I just don't. Moments where there's a bit of rhyme, but not enough. I think if I had 10 years to work on those poems, it would be a better translation. But in fact, as a translator, trying to create English language poetry that will feel similarly surprising, that was what I was hoping to do. So it's a different task from the task of the poet.
There's a lot of drawing on the ballad as a genre, and the ballad narrative and the narrative poetry. As a translator, there is an established genre of the ballad, right? With its rhythm and basically that's safe to transfer.
People killing each other. It's a wonderful genre in English as well.
Very established in terms of very established genre in terms of versification, like using certain like combination of anarchistic and anthropographic meter, for example, or. Are you compelled in any way to draw on this? And the question to Masha is like, what is that you see? Because it's unusual and it's delightful that you see the necessity to actively use and introduce narrativity. It's a narration. It's a narrative poem.
The question about the ballad is a wonderful question, and that actually many people I know who are fascinated by Maria's work are drawn in by the idea of the ballad becoming a revived genre, both in terms of the form, but also in terms of the material, I think. And I have not tried to write a Western-sounding ballad in the translations. No. So no, it would be a very good thing to do that, but I think in fact doing a translation that tore apart the original so strongly, I would have to be a much more confident poet myself to do that.
Speaking of narrative poetry, I could just say that I was mesmerized with the genre. I was mesmerized with the ballad genre from my early childhood, and it means a lot for me. I was structured by reading too much ballads, but in fact, I think that for the last lots of years I've been writing poetry. I was trying to deal with the lyrical eye in different ways, to struggle with it. The lyric poetry for me is a battlefield, because I have this notion that poetry is moving itself like a spaceship, losing something, forcing itself to lose something step by step, rhyme, meter, this or that. And I was thinking that maybe even the I, as a speaking entity, as a special type of manner and mannerisms, could be reduced to non-existence and replaced by something else. Because what interests me in the whole business of writing poetry is seeing some static thing from different points of view, as if you could exchange personal optics moving like this from point to point to point. And well, prose writing and my ballads are as close as I can get to writing prose, are a nice vehicle. It is it covers more space in less time, so it works for me.
Maybe we have time for one last question, but then we can still continue with so.
I don't see a hand, so I'm going to say the other problem with ballad in English is that it's in that meter that's Emily Dickinson's meter. It's hymn meter. There is a house in New Orleans that's called the Rising Sun. It's just 4 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 3 foot. So that was another issue that I looked at and decided not. So I meant to say. Thank you.
Still have time for one. All right. If not, then we still have plenty of time to be here, and then we can, if you like, we can continue on the 13th floor. There is a room where we can stay for a while. Thank you so much.
Thank you.